Hello, I'm Zardus, and let's play Banished. Welcome to Northpass, a village that we're going to get started building today, the first episode of this new Let's Play series. And a couple things to note as we're getting into this series. I have only about 5 hours of gameplay in this game, and those all took place probably over a year ago, so we're doing this kind of like I'm a newbie. Now, I do have a lot of experience in city builder games, especially City Skylines recently, and so I feel like I have a lot of knowledge going in. I do have some familiarity with the game itself. I've been reading up the last week or so on the different mechanics and things like that, so we can probably get going pretty well here, but there is a chance that we will fail pretty quickly, and hopefully that would be entertaining to you, because it probably would be entertaining to me. The other thing to note is that you probably can see my what you call this, the task manager or something like that, or the start menu and stuff like that. That's because I'm having trouble getting the recording software I use to work with Banished in full screen mode. I can only do it in a windowed mode, otherwise the interface for the recorder disappears. And yeah, so you're just gonna have to deal with seeing what tabs I have and all of that. So have fun with that. But anyway, okay, so this is Northpass, and the name came from a Twitter poll that I held last night, and I gave 4 choices, and 3 of them received the same number of votes. So I cast the tie-breaking vote, and we're going with Northpass. And if you look at the map here, I wish they made it bigger, first of all, because this is a very tiny little map window. But we have mountains around the outside. And then we have these various lakes on the inside. So I think what we're going to say the story is that these people were banished, of course. That's the essence of the game. And they had to come up here to the a small valley in the north. So that's why we're called Northpass. I'd say that maybe somewhere in here they can get through the mountains. Looks like maybe along this river. But that's why they chose this area, because it is well protected, but also pretty opportune for some settlement. So what we're starting out here with is we have 18 people, 10 adults, and 8 children, I believe. Yeah, no students, because we have no school right now. It is early spring, and what I want to do is I think I want the main town to be in this area, just because that's where we're going to get started. And we'll probably put some farms down this way. It seems a little bit more open and conducive to farming that way. And try and do a lot of fishing to begin with. I mean, we'll be able to get a fishing pier, in a fishing dock, whatever it's called, in here pretty quickly, and we'll go ahead and decide where we want that. Probably, I mean, we might actually be able to get 2 in here eventually, but we'll start with 1, and we'll put it over on this side. It's not doing anything. There we go. So that will be one of our first builds. The other thing I want to do is we're going to start with a boarding house. Primarily because that will cost less in heating cost to begin with. And we're just going to put that probably here. So we have a storage barn and a stockpile. I did have a storage barn on my list of things to build, so that's good that we're starting with that. And I also want to get a hunter, that one, and a gatherer. And we're just going to put them right in town to begin with. We'll go right over, well, let's go a little bit out of town. They can gather up this way. I'm still getting a hang of the controls a bit. I'm not quite sure why it's not wanting to build here. Oh, I have fishing dock selected. Why didn't I realize that? Probably because it is 6:15 in the morning, as you can see. But anyway, we're going to, yeah, now that I can see the area of effect is a little bit bigger, we'll go ahead and put this right downtown. Just because it is so early in the game, the same with the Gatherer's Hut. I don't want people traveling farther than they need to. Put that there. And let's see, what else do we need? We're going to need that's the wrong tab. Resource production. A woodcutter. Yeah, we'll just start with the woodcutter, because we're going to need firewood for the winter. And we'll put this right over by the stockpile. And we don't need a forester lodge yet, because there's plenty of wood here to clear. Herbalist, blacksmith, tailor. We will need a blacksmith fairly soon. But for now, let's see, we need lots of builders. Let's do 8. I'm going to try to always keep about 2 laborers, I think, at a minimum. And that'll be to replace anybody who dies, but also to help move things around. And I think we can get started now. So we will unpause the game and see our people start moving. Probably speed things up a tiny bit here. Eventually, once we get started with the first winter, once we make it through that, then we're going to start building a lot more farms and things like that before we start really getting into any of these fancy things like a tavern or a town hall, or stuff like that, because food, I think, will be the most important thing in this game. So I want to make sure that we have a very large supply of food. And what I've read is that the people need 100 food per year to survive. And so right now, I mean, we don't have enough. Well, we have enough to make it through 1 year. So, and that's it. And that if we have any children born, then we're not going to be able to make it. And that would not be good. So we're going to make sure that we get enough food. Now, it looks like our fishing dock is almost done. So as soon as that's ready, we're going to start assigning some people to be fishermen. And yeah, so let's see, we've got logs are low, stone is low. That's because we are using our logs and stone. Let's try and make sure to get the laborers to just clear this area out, and that will give us a lot more space. In the meantime, let's also build a larger stockpile. Probably behind here. Let's do a 10 by 10 stockpile there. And we have the fisherman hut or thing is ready, so we can get people fishing. I want some builders. Boy, we need more people pretty quick here. But we are definitely going to get people fishing over here because we need that food production to take place pretty quickly. We also have a gatherer's hut ready now, so let's get 2 gatherers on there. Fewer and fewer builders. But we're gonna make do. This one is the hunting cabin. I think the woodcutter is going to be more important. I mean, we need food, yes. But we also have a little bit of firewood. If we can get 1 person on the firewood chopping, then maybe we'll have enough to make it through this first winter. Oh good, we have another adult here. And I'm trying to figure out which buttons I want. Here we go. Didn't need to close that out earlier. Okay, so we have another laborer. Let's put them on building for now, because that is one thing that we need to have done. I mean, it's already spring. I closed that again. So yeah, it's going to take me a little bit to get used to some of the interface here when I haven't played the game in a very long time. But I am fairly pleased with how things are going. We are collecting more resources from our area, which will help us long term, because we'll have a clearer spot here, but we'll also have resources to use. Now, I mean, we have, at some point we'll want to find a sustainable spot for a forester, but for now we're going to just go with this. And let's keep seeing how things go. If you hear me pause every once in a while, that's because I have to have some coffee. I mean, it's so early in the morning. This is the only time I have to play games sometimes. You know, get up, the baby wakes me up pretty early. And then I come and play games for a couple hours before going to work after the baby's been fed and is back to sleep now. But I had enough sleep that I can't fall back to sleep after a certain amount of time. So the boarding house is coming along, and we have another person who's become an adult, so we'll get another builder in here. The reason that we're doing a boarding house, I don't know if I said this already, but it's because for now I want to be able to control the population growth. I don't want to grow too fast, because then we won't have the food to support the population. And with a boarding house, the people in the boarding house will not have children, because it's not really an environment conducive to that sort of activity. But in the meantime, one boarding house uses the same amount of firewood as a regular wooden house, and so for much less firewood, we are able to heat everybody over the winter. And we've used up all of our firewood that we had stored. So the woodcutter is going to get to be more and more important here. Now we have more laborers. Let's get another one on gathering. See how they're doing. They're gathering a little bit, yeah. It's not the best environment or best setting for the gatherer, because I believe the gatherer will gather things from trees, and they really should be in a more dense forest area. But I don't want people to walk very far right now, because the less they have to walk, the more efficient they will be, and the more efficient they are, the better our start will be. So I'm keeping everything as condensed as possible to begin with. And with a small population like this, we don't need a lot of gathering to take place, especially if our fishing dock is able to collect quite a bit of fish. Now our food is very low, but that's because a lot of it was moved into the boarding house, so that this only shows what we have in the storage barn. So that is fine. And in the meantime, I'm actually going to move the gatherer away and put them on fishing. And how much firewood do we have at the boarding house? We have 200 firewood. And I closed this window yet again. The hunting cabin is coming along. That'll be another source of food for the winter. And, I mean, we're already into summer here. Things are starting to get a little bit more tense. But we will see how things go here. You know, this... I mean, when you're zoomed out like this, it looks like a pretty small area. But once you're zoomed in and you see how little space you're taking up with buildings, it's like, I actually might be able to fit some farms pretty close to town here. I thought that I was going to have to go further away, but you might be able to get 1 or 2 farms in here to begin with. So we can cut back on the builders and start hunting. Get 3 gatherers, 3 fishermen, 2 hunters. And in the meantime, we've still got 2 laborers to work on collecting resources and getting things going. And yet again, I closed the window. Okay, we do have some builders that are going to work on that storage spot. Okay, but now we have our woodcutter, and we're going to get somebody on there right away. Now, I guess the laborers are needed for that. So we have 2 builders that we don't need. Let's get them on laborers. Hey, look, a glitch. We've got livestock, or an elk walking on water. Very interesting. And let's see. We are increasing food again. So it seems that we are getting in better shape there. So that will be good. We have 4 laborers still. We can cut back on the laborers and add another fisherman and another gatherer. And hopefully that will start to help there as well. What are these other things? So we have stone, coal, medicine, textiles, alcohol, iron, tools, and clothes. So I think it's summer now, so we're done building. Actually, I think what we could do is we could get started on a couple of houses here. We're going to put them right outside the storage barn. And I want to expand a tiny bit, because next year we're going to need a couple more people to start working farms and some of these other things that we need to do, like a blacksmith and a tailor, because we're going to need clothes and more tools. Eventually we will run out of tools, because the workers use tools and they wear out, and so we'll need a blacksmith to make new ones for them. But this first year is going by, and so far everybody's happy and healthy, so that's good. And our food is going up, so we're producing more food than we're eating, and that's a very, very good thing to have happen. So we're cut back a little bit because I want to get a couple builders over there, a couple laborers. I want to get some houses built before the winter, so that maybe by spring we'll have more people. And I guess we'll speed up the game a little bit more here, now that the very beginning stages of this are done. We don't need to go quite so slow. We're still clearing some stuff out. I wish they would clear over here first so that they could start stockpiling there, but so far we have more space in the other one, so that'll be fine. But I did want the stockpile to be pretty close to the woodcutters so he doesn't have to travel very far to get food. Looks like this is a she. And we have Sherry as the woodcutter. Very good. Wish that would stop moving. And so we're into late summer now. Nobody's put much work into the houses, so that one's going up now. They take stone too, and so we're going to, I mean, we've got plenty of stone over here. What am I talking about? So we have plenty of resources here at the starting point in order to be able to get things going. Hey, look, now we have a family here, so our population has grown a little bit. We had 4 children born very quickly. Interesting. So maybe they are still being born in the boarding house, but they don't get married there. I'm not quite sure how that works then, but in the meantime we are growing a little bit. We have another laborer here, so we can get them on hunting. And while we're at it, let's also let's get the blacksmith going, and he can be over here as well. I want a road to come through there, so we're gonna do that now. Let's see, where's the road? Here we go. I want a road to go through here, and then we can have another road come off this way. And then we make another one here. So that'll be a start. We can go a bit faster through here now. And we'll get this blacksmith going. And then we can also get the tailor started here. So now they're all very close to the stockpile here. Dirt road over that way as well, so they can all get back there. Anybody who needs the stockpile is very close. The people who need the food are very close to the storage barn. How are we doing in production? Gatherer's hut is doing well. Hunting cabin is doing well. Fishing dock is doing well, and we are into late autumn. So our first winter is arriving, and I'm a little nervous. I'm going to be honest, but we will see how this goes. And we're still in late autumn here. Still doing a lot of collecting of resources, which is good because we the stockpile is starting to get full, and that'll help out in time as we start to use things up. Alright, we're in early winter. How are we doing with firewood here? We have 190. Food is starting to get low in the boarding house. We have a bit stored up over the winter. I think all of our... I mean, does the the fishing dock still work during the winter? I think it does. I think they can do some ice fishing. Oh, we've reached our... Okay, we can up the firewood fuel limit. It's kind of silly that that would be so low. We can have more than 200 fuel. Alright, so now we have another laborer here. Dylan has become an adult. And he can work on being a laborer for now. Actually, I'm going to pause here because I'm going to assign him to building because I want to get a crop field started so that when spring comes we can go ahead and get going. And we're going to make this pretty big. 15 by 15. We're just going to go right there. But, and actually I am going to increase the priority here. Okay, so that should get built. I want that done before the end of winter, if possible. Extend our dirt road some more here. Okay, yeah, that'll get done. Okay, so now we can, apparently we're going to plant pumpkin, because that is the only type of seed we have to begin with. And we can assign... going to have 2 farmers for now. Actually, we'll go ahead and do 4, because I think if they're not working on the farm, then they are being laborers. And I want them working in the farm as soon as it is able to be tilled in the spring. Alright, so now we are... close that window again. We have one builder who's working on building things. Oh, he built the road first. That's okay. I would have rather he built one of these buildings, but we don't really have anybody to work them yet anyway. But that's a job that these children, we have 7 of them now. Those kids are going to do. So, storage is near capacity. I wish they would work over here, so we're going to raise the priority here. Get this area out of there so that we have space to store stuff. Apparently these citizens are not very smart on their own, which is fine. But a little bit frustrating, I'll admit. Now we should also get a road over to the, let's see, how do I do the, here we go, over to the fishing dock, like that, and we'll go diagonal. Even though eventually if we have a grid here that's not going to be very efficient, but it is efficient right now. So we are making progress. It is spring and our farmers are starting to plant. Perfect. We have a laborer. Good. Who became an adult? Elwoody. Elwoody. What a name. I love the names in this game. And I think we're almost set for this first episode. It has gone by pretty quickly. And I think that that'll probably be about it. So the next episode, what I want to do is get us through another year. I mean, we've got good food production. We're at almost 1,700 at the beginning of spring, and Be interesting to see how much we get from the farm. Then we also will probably try and finish these buildings up and get workers there, and then we'll start to expand. I think we got a pretty good start here. We survived that first winter, and we are in good shape. Anyway, that's about it for this episode. If you liked the video, please hit like. If you disliked it, go ahead and hit dislike, but please leave a comment and let me know why you don't like it so that I can maybe fix that issue before the next episode. And if you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe. I have other content on City Skylines right now. And yeah, catch me on Twitter, Zardus4, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.